Okay, sure, yeah. So my name is Ronnie, and I've been living in here in Taiwan for the last 20 years, basically from Kerala. My hometown is Thrissur, as close to the famous temples and churches here. And I do work with SDGs, and I'm very active in environmental issues. And I teach the IB school and focus mainly on junior and senior high school. And that's mostly about me.
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Yeah,
How are you, sir?
great.
My name is Radhika. I'm a sixth grader. I'm from Z.P.H.S Ilavaram. Can I ask a question, sir?
Sure, it's my pleasure. Go on.
What kind of school system is popular there, private or public?
Mostly public school is famous here. If you want the best students, they go to public school. But there are also private schools are famous now too, because sometimes the students, the families now looking for a scoring system, so they will let the kids to go to the public private schools. And also there is a new style of a school coming, we call experimental high school. So experimental high school is both in public and private sectors there. So they can have a standalone curriculum, so they don't need to go with the other type of curriculum. So they just need to create some things tailored to the student's need. So it's recently become famous here too. Again, public schools are the best one here.
Okay. So how
Thank you.
different the experimental schools from the public schools? That means there must be some reason for establishment of the experimental schools.
Experimental high school can be both in public and private. It can be both. But they only offer you like a limited number of students. So you can only have 25 students per class because they just want to make sure that every student can take care of the things. Because some students have a special needs.
Yes.
So they make sure those needs are we meet their needs so that's both in private and public sector.
Okay.
Hello,
Thanks.
sir. How are you?
Great. And how about you?
I'm fine, sir. I would like to ask a question. Can I ask, sir?
Sure. Oh, no problem.
How do teachers teach in their classes? Do they have professional developmental programs?
Yeah, here we have to go through a lot of training here. It's very often, almost like every week, they maybe have a training, and there can be online training. There would be a professional development team. So mostly teachers more involved in training sometimes than teaching. So it is a good part of teaching here because you will get to know the new styles, interact with the different ones. And it's up to the school team. Sometimes the public school, they may have less training, private school have more training, and it's about school to school, or maybe city school have more training than the rural ones.
Thank you.
Sir.
Tedipya.
Yeah, a seventh grader. I am from Z.P.H.S School, Ilavaram. Can I ask one question, sir?
Sure.
Could you please tell me major differences between Indian education system and Taiwan education system?
Education system, like if you look at the elementary school level, maybe I don't see that much big because there are a lot of new education ideas are in India. So I cannot say there's a big one in elementary or junior high school, but the resources is the big difference because even your junior high school, you can do any lab. That the labs here are up to the university, maybe bigger than university scale in here. So junior high school kids can do like maybe your chemistry teacher know that they can do the spectrograph here. There's no issue; they just can go into buy some. So they have a high-tech labs here for students. So that's a big difference here. And university system utterly different. University system here is a very highly advanced one. Every lab got everything, so you don't need to wait for a result after 2 months, like in India. Here is everything is there. So technology is here. That's a big difference if you look at the India and Taiwan. And resources, they actually spend a lot of resources in education compared to India. So schools are well built, they're facilitated very well. So even public school, not just talking about private school, public school have a lot of funds, and they like the park. It's like a nice park you can go to relax. So resource-wise, yes, there's a big difference compared to India and Taiwan. Educational system, I think now as the world is a flat, I think we all do follow almost the same thing here.
If you compare an Indian student with the Taiwanese student, what kind of difference you can notice? Do you find any kind of difference in terms of the knowledge level?
Indian kids are very creative, because this is what I learned from my experience is that if you have less resources, you become more creative. If you have more resources, you become less creative. So there's a huge difference there. So the Indians, they work with their own limitations, so they become more creative. Yes. Not just in India, I think the kids with the less resources can be more creative because they get an idea. The people with the more resources, their creativity kind of struggles because they have everything there. So the creativity kind of struggles. So that's a big difference I see in India and Taiwan.
Yeah, thank you. Sahiti, your voice is breaking. Sahiti, really sorry. Sahiti, your voice is breaking. Could you please ask your question quickly?
What has been your experience living in Taiwan and teaching there?
Okay, I think you're asking what is my experience here in teaching Taiwan, right?
Yes.
Experience is so like it always great, okay, because you learn, because usually I call my students as a teacher, because in Chinese, Lao means teacher. So usually I usually call, not everyone, in fact, I call a lot of my students as a Lao because I have a lot of things to learn from them. So teaching is a profession that is a lot of demand is there. But if you open yourself, if you don't take anything personal, then you will enjoy it. There's always a struggle. There's always a struggle in your life. It's no matter which profession you are. There's an ups and downs, but just focus on what you like to do. Then when you start to feel that this is not my cup of tea, just move on. That's it. So far, I don't feel it. When I feel it, I will go on.
So, Ronnie, you are saying that you have been staying there for almost 20 years in Taiwan. So, how did this opportunity to work in Taiwan came to you? So, how are you selected for this science teacher post? How did
actually
it's
all coincidental, because I actually still have a job in India. Yeah, this is I'm planning to go this year. July, I will be going back to resign from my work. So I do have a government job in Kerala. So I came here because I know my wife is actually Taiwanese. So I came here for just a visit. When I came here for a visit, and then I get to know here, then to know this place. And I actually went back to India. That time my wife went to New York. She was studying there. And I came here. So initially I took a test here because I have a test from that was an English teaching school. So I took a test and I passed the test because Indians are good at taking tests. Okay, so they took me for training. So I was training there. After the training, they put me as an English teacher, not the science teacher. Luckily for me, because normally here, native teachers are worked as English teachers. So I was, because I had a visa at that time. I was a visa. Visa is the biggest problem. I had a visa. Then, before my visa expired, I got selected from an international school because because I tried to incorporate science in my English teaching. That science of biology is my expertise. So always when I will teach in English or something, I will add that to that's your natural instinct. Yeah, so someone overheard what I'm doing in my class, so they get, it's a word, it goes around. And I was luckily picked by international school, and that's my start.
Yes. Thanks, over to you.
Hello, sir. I'm Tanasri. I'm an educator from Z.P.H.S Ilavaram. Can you please allow me to ask me a question?
Carry on.
What native English speakers are engaged in Taiwan to teach English language?
There are like, if you want to teach English, you need to be native speaker here. So they give you teachers visas to who's from South Africa, New Zealand, from US, Canada, UK, and yeah, mostly US people are here a lot as the teachers. So every school, they have 2 or 3 slots so they can hire the English teacher here. So you need to be native speakers here. And every school got a lot of the native speakers here.
Okay, so that means, is it the Taiwanese education policy to recruit the teachers, especially from the English-speaking countries?
Yeah, they do have I think every school have a slot of 2 to 3 they can hire.
Okay.
So they will hire per 2 years kind of contract here.
Okay. Mamata, do you have any question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please. Ask Mamata.
Hello, sir. My name is Mamata. I am a 6th grader. Can I ask one question, sir?
Sure.
What is the unique thing about Taiwanese?
What is the unique thing?
Okay, so maybe for the work is their prayer. The duty is the prayer. They work a lot. They hardworking people. They're fast. If you go to Japan, maybe Japan is the fastest place. Then maybe Korea and Taiwan. So they are from a different kind of way to do things here. And they work fast, they move fast, there is a system and everything. And so it is convenient for people to live here. Maybe Taiwan is one of the convenient place to live next to Japan. Japan is in a different style, okay?
Yes.
So if you come Japan, maybe then it's South Korea and Taiwan. These are the 3 countries are highly convenient. The system works perfectly well. So yeah, that's very big difference.
Yes.
Hello, sir. I'm Roshni, an 8th grader from Z.P.H.S Ilavaram. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What is school like in Taiwan?
What is the schooling or school like in Taiwan?
School like in Taiwan.
They, as I told you, mostly is the well-structured schools and all. But recently there's an issue going on in villages, like a rural areas, certain places where we call a tribal area. So they're cutting down the school because they didn't have enough students. They have only 5 or 6 students. The whole school cut only 6 students. So they are actually cutting down the school so that they need to go the nearest school. They're trying their best. So they're trying to change it to experimental school. So even when they're experimental school, they don't need that many students. But their teacher have to do a lot of work. They need to do a curriculum planning, standalone things. But there is a problem there. They need to cut down the school resources now. So students need to maybe move a little bit further away from their homes. And the same thing, university too. Here, there's a lot of university. So university, there's a rule that if you are not performing very well, they're gonna shut it down, that department. So every university is under a lot of pressure. They need to come up with a result and product. So yeah, they're also recruiting students around the world and they're trying their best. Because there's a competition, it's open for competition and struggles. So yeah, that's a big difference.
Yeah. So Ronin, our examination system in India, we have a different type of examination. Our examination system at school level is a bit more liberalized. So students are promoted to the next grade depending on their attendance rather than the marks. But how about the examination system prevailing in Taiwan?
Here it's almost the same thing as long as you go to before the university. There's a big test everyone need to take before going to university. So everyone will be working a lot in 11th and 12th grade because they need to take this test. And then they can pick the university no matter which profession, which stream they're picking. So it's the whole Taiwan system. So that's the one check mark they need to do it. So that's the standardized test every student need to take. If you want a good university, if you want to pick the best courses, otherwise it's fine. And they do have the exam for junior high school and to enter into senior high school. From elementary school, if you've gone to 7th grade, you need to take a test. And that test actually will tell you which school you can pick it. So there is a grace mark. If you leave near the school, they will give you a certain grace mark with the test one, you can pick it. So there is a test when you are 6th grade to 7th grade, there's a one test, including junior high school. And there's from 9th grade to 10th grade, there's another test. So the students, they need to take it. And but if you are studying in the same school, there's a 90% chance you can get it. So they give you a certain kind of grace mark for it for being. But there is a 10% you have a chance that you need to kick out of the school because other students may come in. Mostly they happen to the high achieving schools. They will have a huge demand for students to come if you are in cities.
So what happens if a student doesn't perform well in examination? And
the rule here is that they need to pass mark is 62 here. So actually the rule is that you need to give them test again. That's the rule here. So the rule, as per the Ministry of Education rule, you need to give the test again to the student. And if the student is not passing the test, you can have a different way to make them to read a book and make them to so you have different way to do the testing to them, okay? But it's up to teachers. Teachers get punished for it. So usually teachers will try to put some other extra in a mark and something to get the kids to pass 62.
So what I understood that due to the government policy, the government of Taiwan is investing a lot of money into the education sector, and it is expecting a lot, of outcome from the students. So in turn, it puts pressure on the teachers, in fact. So what kind of pressure that the teachers in Taiwan, especially in the public sector, feel because of the expectations from the government?
Mostly the government actually everywhere just need to showing up. You just need to have some show off things and the government will be fine. It's not a real progress of it. Mostly they same like in India, they have a tuition centers here, the Bushipan strong one. So they do the work, the teachers do the okay. So academic level, if you look at, I think the public school teachers, they don't need to do anything that much. The students are capable of doing by themselves. So the mostly they come from the extracurricular activities or something to show off to the one, so their school knows how they're doing. Other than there's no big pressure for the one teachers.
So what subjects do students take at the school level?
For the junior elementary school, it is same like in India. Junior high school also, they don't need to study every science every year. They can pick, maybe sometimes they start from bio, integrated science. And then a senior high school, as same like in India, you can pick which stream you want. You want to pick the science stream or humanities, you can pick it. It's almost like in India, but less study material compared to India. Because sometimes in India, if you're 9th grade, I think you need to study everything, biochem and everything. But here you don't need to.
Okay. And these
days,
they
may pick.
Yeah. Carry on.
No. Just
So these days, robotics, coding are the two demanding subjects, and every school, even in India also, they are including these two subjects in their school system. Even artificial intelligence. So how about there in Taiwan? Maybe Taiwan is far more in advance in thinking of including these demanding subjects.
Every school have a design lab, fab lab or design lab, and everyone have a 3D printers and everything. So students get used to it from an early age. But do they really understand the process? Maybe not, but they do have this system. So they feel more confident, or maybe they get used to the machine to and everything. So yeah, they get used to their things. They knew how to make it work and everything, because But the basic idea, maybe they're lacking because there are a lot of resources, all these programs available. So maybe they don't know the basic of the program, but they do it. Just they can copy and paste. And actually now, AI is there, so it's easy to get the programming code and it's easily available. So as I told you, resource-wise is very big in Taiwan. So kids doesn't have no issues. So if you really want to work on it, they can go on. So every student have they do have the resources. So they don't need to worry that much. So yeah, if you don't want to work on anything, they can do by themselves. They don't have any restriction.
Okay. So in India, I think each and every state, we have a free midday meal scheme. As you know that you have worked in a government sector. So is there any such a free meal system or any other incentives provided to the students that come to public schools?
Mostly they for families are very, very few there, compared to India. So they do have a system. If your parents are working, they get a free ticket. There's a free slip you can get in, and that you can use that to any place to eat, not just in the school, anywhere you want. You can use that to here. We have a convenience stores. It's like a stores around Taiwan. So they're very convenient for 7-Eleven. There is a High Life. So these are the shops that everywhere 24/7 you can get almost everywhere.
Wow.
It will be like almost like 500 or 1 kilometer away everywhere in Taiwan. So you just go there anytime 24/7. You go there, give a slip. You can buy the lunch and then you can have a drink. So this they do it, so you can get that. That's for any family or kids that have like income issue. Jobless. Mostly you won't find that in it.
Yes.
But there is a facility. So if your family, someone have an issue, mostly it happen not because of jobless, because some family they face through some mental trauma or something, and they don't go to work, so they face during that phase a lot of economic crisis. So that time the teacher can help you to apply for it.
So how about the recruitment in for teachers in public system? Are the teachers recruited based on the retirements? For instance, in India, if a teacher gets retired, maybe it takes a longer to expect the new teacher to replace him. It takes a longer than we expect, in fact.
Yeah, that's not a big problem. Here, teachers are already on standby.
Okay.
Yeah, they always have a teachers training. There will be a lot of teachers trainings to the teachers will be there in school. So like every school have at least 5 to 6 extra teachers will be there. They will be paid according to the hour they will teach.
Okay.
So they will be
teachers. There are many substitute teachers. That means they
will be always there. So they will be every 6 like I think they will have around 6 to 7 per school every year. Sometimes they will be 2-year system. They have the one, so they will be always standby there. So the standby is if any teachers take a day off, then they will teach and they will get paid for it.
The typical timings of the school. So at what time?
8:20 to 5:20.
Wow. It looks like it's longer than I expected.
Yeah, elementary school is shorter. If you grade to grade 1, 2, 3, you don't have a class after lunchtime. You go home. And elementary school till 7th grade, you can go home like 4 o'clock. But junior high school and start at a big time. Junior is like 8. They need to come to school at 8 o'clock and they leave at 5 or something.
So students in high school take the standardized tests like Cambridge and some Oxford tests, especially in the subject English?
If they want to go out of Taiwan, they take it others.
Okay.
Yeah. Because a lot of the students, they go out for a certain time and they all take SAT, AP, reach, and like this.
So that means you have just revealed the fact that the government of Taiwan is recruiting the teachers, especially in the area of English, from the English-speaking countries. So definitely they keep some goals in their mind to achieve for these recruited teachers, especially from the foreign origin. So what outcomes they expect from these teachers, and especially and how they are supposed to teach to the Taiwanese students?
Mostly this recruitment is up to the school, not through the government. Government give them slot, the school can post the notice, they can put as per. And mainly they're looking for the foreigners so the kids can interact. It's mainly to communicate the oral way, because that's what they want. They want the kids to understand the accent, to understand, so they will be having more communicative English. The speaking to enhance their speaking ability. That's what they focus on. So the school, they will be English department, so they will be the one who works with them. So every school friendly plan.
So how do the students take the examination, and the paper or paperless?
They have, if you want to do, doesn't need to be paper for, like, it's up to you to check. If you want to make a poster presentation, it's fine. Because I'm doing IB, so an IB it's up to you, whichever you want. You can have the video submission, you can have poster submission, slide submission, as long as you hit the criteria. So actually there's no strict rule for those things. It's up to the teachers to make it, but teachers prefer the paper one. It's easy to grade and do it. So there is no strict rules for it, but it's teachers prefer the old style sometimes, so they have a less problem to face. They have something to show easily to the parents.
Yes. So you have already told that technology is a big asset for Taiwanese schools. And do all teachers use the technology widely when they teach their subjects respectively in their classrooms?
Mostly, because all the classrooms are well suited with the smartphone and everything, so they prefer to use. Because that's usually I'm the one useless one. Usually I would take a pen and not to do it, because I just worry that when the kids in a certain age group, when we turn off the lights or turn on the one, they start to sleep. They lose their attention span, because that makes them sleepy. So usually I'm a person who actually uses less technology, but mostly here the teachers, they prefer to use technology. So it's easy for them to move on there. So there are advantages and disadvantages out there. So it's up to you to know which the one.
Okay, so how do the Taiwan children behave in the classroom? Maybe I have been to USA as a part of Fulbright Teaching Exchange Program, TAA program, and I witnessed a few many more unruly students in the classroom. In fact, when the session is in progress, that students they ate and they behaved as per their will. I don't think that's the same. Yeah.
Yeah, the reason is here, students know their rights here very well. So they can go to complain in this scale they want. So then teachers start to become less active in a class. They just run away. Because they lost that connection, because they knew it's become their trouble, so they don't really engage in them to the rights. If the connectivity goes down, like that in India we call this mother Pita, because there is nothing there.
Yeah.
So that connectivity is like not really, it's just like market oriented. I pay you money, you teach, you go. That's it.
So I have
it's seen in mostly when you come to the development world and you think economy is a development. So your social structure is not that important. Then it happens to everywhere.
Language. Okay, what are the language that the Taiwanese people speak? Maybe Taiwan language and Chinese language.
Mostly they speak Mandarin, traditional Chinese with the Taiwanese, but the traditional Chinese is the most dominant language.
So I think you must have mastered this language because you have been there.
Oh, no, not at all, not at all. Because I teach in English schools, right? So my communication is the English. So my language skills are not that great as a lot of, and also I don't focus in language that much. Is my view because I'm good at communication. So I knew locals here very well. So language didn't stop me communicating with them. So
Okay.
I'm fine with communicating with people here. So maybe that was the reason that my language didn't that much expansion like others.
Okay. So do you have this the rule in the school that every student is expected to speak English only, or he can
No.
speak any other language that he likes?
Yeah, there is no rule. It's up to the person. But when that person speaks to you, you can pretend you don't understand when you can speak English. You just need to like, you don't know. You just yeah. So usually I pretend I don't understand what they say, so they need to speak English. But they knew it. They know it. I do understand. So, but
yes. Okay, we have 2 minutes time is left. Yeah, before we wind up the session, could you please give me a final message to my students?
Yeah, just keep doing the thing that you like to do. You don't need to change because someone told you to do it. You can talk to yourself and find that sweet spot in you to find what you are. There may be a lot of pressure that you're gonna face, but believe in yourself, okay? And make yourself like, don't change because of the others want to do it. Like, oh, everyone doing it, so I need to do. Don't do it. That is kind of boring. It's kind of cliche. So try to do the things that you like to do, and then believe in yourself. And there will be a lot of struggles will be there, hurdles will be there. There will be a lot of times you need to cry. It's fine. That's part of our life. Life is that kind of struggle. If everything is happy, then we are in a heaven. Actually, we are not in a heaven. We are living in this world. So there will be a lot of struggles and problems, cries. Enjoy it, cherish it, and always think to cherish your life and cherish the people around you, and then you'll be happy.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time.